Hi everyone, my name is Pablo Lasso, and this video will guide you through the electrical safety when dealing electricity in a day-to-day of your life. In this video, you will learn the following. So here, you will notice the common electrical hazards: electric shock, electric burns, and indirect faults. These are the summary what you will learn in this video. Here are the dangers of electricity. So be safe. Here is the how electricity works. Normally, electricity there's a power source, and from the generating stations like the nuclear power plant, wind power plant. These are the windmill, solar. Solar is collecting heat from the sun, and it will store in a battery. Eventually, it will distribute power to the household or industry. Water. Water is a hydroelectric power plant. You can see all over the world. Coal. Coal is a material to generate electricity. They call it coal power plant, coal-fired power plant. Here are the electrical terms used in the industry. Here is the example of cause of overloading. What do you mean by that? For example, you have the washing machine in your house, and the connecting wire, the cross section is too small. For example, number 14 American wire gauge. When the machine starts drawing power from the power supply, the wire will eventually overheated, and prolonged usage of that washing machine, and it is fed from a small wire. Eventually, it will lead to fire. It's the electrical shock, meaning when touching a live conductor or grounded equipment, you will electrocuted. So stay away from those uh, conductor or current carrying metal or whatever. Stay away from them. Here is the illustration. How is the electricity will flow to your body when you are electrocuted? Low voltage does not mean low hazard. No, a 60 to 100 milliamp will cause you dead. So don't assume when you are working with a low voltage electrical system. Don't assume that it will not cause you fatal. No, don't do that. Here is the danger of electrical shock. You will notice here a 6 milliamp is often termed as tolerable let go, meaning when you are electrocuted and for 6 milliamp, meaning you will feel tingling to your muscles. For 10 milliamp, it will paralyze you, or your muscles will freeze. You cannot move. For 60 to 100 milliamp, that will cause death. So if there is no emergency assistance from anybody when you are electrocuted, you will be dead. So be safety. These are the cause of electrocution. Most common is the shock related injury, burns to your body. These are the cause of electrocution. Here, when you are planning to work to your power supply in your house, ensure to switch off the power supply of that circuit of your lighting before start working. Again, I will repeat, before start working for any electrical system in your house, ensure to switch off the power supply of that circuit feeding power to that area of work you are planning to do. That is for your safety, to avoid electrocution. How to control them? Uh, do not practice this type of wiring. They call it octopus wiring. These images you can see in this video are unsafe. Don't do this. Again, any electrical boxes related to your power supply system, cover them for safety. Here is the illustration when you are working or dealing with electrical system. Ensure to switch off the power supply before start working. Again, this always cover any electrical boxes or panel board in your houses or in your work. If there is temporary power supply, when you are working in a construction or any work related to electrical system. Here, you will notice that any conductor entering or leaving a junction box or a panel board must be protected. All unused opening must be covered to prevent the ingress or enter of insects. Thus, this will cause arc flash and is a danger to human when working with those boxes or panel board. Again, this one is an illustration that you must cover those electrical boxes for safety. Here is the illustration that when you see this image, this is the overhead electrical distribution system. This is post hazard when you are operating a crane or you are carrying a ladder, anything, backhoe. Avoid touching those overhead wires. It will cause you fatal or accident. This is the illustration for this. Here is the high voltage transmission line overhead. So don't go near to this transmission line. Stay away from them. Because if there's a lightning strike on those line, that will you will be electrocuted on the ground. So stay away from those overhead transmission line. This is just only the illustration on how to measure the cross section of the wires. These are the tools to use to measure those wires, normally used by the electrician. Here, you will see here the how to read the conductor or the wire normally used for housing or in your construction day-to-day work. This is illustration of the defective cords and wires. See here, the damaged extension cords and tools. If you will see those type of damages, it is noticeable. Immediately don't use it. It will just cause accident. Those are the damaged cord, or cord is a wire, of course. Yeah. So those are the cause of damage, aging. Like your cord is passing through the door or sharp edges of the windows, or abrasion meaning damage, cutting on the insulation, or you are working near to that cord. That is the cause of fire or accident. So don't do that. This is just only the illustration that it will tell you that a wire must be insulated. No sign of damage to the insulation. Here is the cord and cables worn out or frayed. If you will notice this sign of burn to the male plug of a tool or your appliance, don't use it. It will lead to unsafe and untoward accident. Here is the illustration where to use and not to use a cord for your electrical equipment. Again here, the related work practices or working spaces in your construction work or in your house. Grounding. Grounding is very important when you are handling electricity. A grounding is the create a low resistance path, meaning if there is a short circuit, internal short circuit with your tools or your equipment, washing machine, dryers, If those are grounded safely, the short circuit to your line to line of your wire of your tools will flow to the ground. Here is the improper grounding. There is no grounding noticeable on the plug, and the other one is broken extension cord. Unsafe to use it. These are the illustration of the grounding for your tools or equipment. Here is the ground fault circuit interrupter. This type of outlet or receptacle is normally used in the bathroom, especially in wet area. So if you have some washroom or bathroom, normally this type of receptacle or outlet are installed there for safety. This is again about grounding conductor. So meaning your tools or your machine or your equipment in your household, you should check that it is grounded or there is a grounding on the power supply for safety. These are the hazard of overloading in household or in construction work, meaning too many devices plug into a circuit, causing the heat, causing heated wires and possibly a fire, of course. Yeah, as I mentioned before, an undersized wire, not not sized correctly, when they draw the power from the power supply, the normal sign that the wire is undersized is very hot. If you feel the wire, it will be very hot. Those are the signs of overloading. Meaning, if you frequently and prolong use of those equipment with that undersized wire, eventually it will cause a fire, and that is, of course, we don't want that to happen. Lack of overcurrent protection, meaning you are tapping the wire, the power supply of your device, somewhere on one circuit, which is not protected, meaning that if there is an internal fault or internal touching of your live wire within your machine, meaning there is no overcurrent protection upstream, it will damage your equipment and it will cause fire to the circuit. That is the illustration there. This is the illustration of how the power supply is protected. Fuses and circuit breakers. Fuse and circuit breakers are overcurrent devices, meaning these are the protection, circuit protection to your devices, to your receptacle, to your lighting system. Operation is that when there is an overload for a certain circuit, the fuse will melt. But if you are protecting your circuit with a circuit breaker, when there is a overload or overcurrent, the breaker will trip That is the illustration for this. Okay, this is just only the general requirement. You will notice here the cord is damaged. The insulation is cut or severe. Yeah, this is just only the illustration how the equipment for safety. Here you will notice that equipment, electrical equipment must be listed, labeled or certified equipment. Meaning don't use any device which is not bearing this listed or labeled electrical equipment. Okay, meaning here is just only showing you that do not lay those receptacle on the ground. That is unsafe. Here is the splices. Okay, if there is a splice like this, do not expose to surrounding. That will cause it. It will cause electrocution to personnel or people working nearby. Again here, if you are planning to use those power tools, ensure the material, the tools must have those clear indication of the manufacturer name, trademark. Where is that tools coming from? And ensure also that the voltage rating, the current, the wattage, and other rating as necessary. Meaning you have to check if that tools is suitable to be used for your work or for your day-to-day usage of power tools. Okay, this one is a panel board, meaning each service feeder and branch circuit at its disconnecting means, or this is just only telling you that a panel board must have legibly nameplate, branch circuit, what is the overcurrent protection, branch circuit protection, meaning must be properly labeled. Here is the illustration for the working clearance for the equipment. You see the condition A, the working clearance in front of the equipment is not adequate. Meaning if there is electrocution here, you will notice the person there is unsafe. So this is just only illustration to maintain the unobstructed clearance in front of the equipment. So meaning if you are installing electrical equipment, ensure you have to maintain the unobstructed clearances in front of the equipment adjacent to that equipment. This is the illustration of this. Same, meaning you have to maintain the unobstructed clearances in front of the equipment like electrical panel board or a switchboard. This illustration here, you can see those are switchboard, meaning 1.5 meters or 2 meters is adequate to maintain in front of this equipment. This is just only the live part must not be exposed to human. You have to cover them for safety. Again here, as I've mentioned before working in any electrical power system, ensure to switch off the power supply as much as possible. Put this tag or lock, meaning lock out or tag out the power supply of a circuit before it starts working for safety. These are the normally used in the industry, the lockout and tag out system. Here is the illustration how the electrician or worker applied the necessary lockout and tag out in the power supply before they start working for safety. Always is the illustration again. First, you have to isolate the power supply, apply the lock and the tag before it starts working for a certain work, a certain circuit to avoid electrocution. This is for safety. Here is the illustration how you will check the receptacle before plugging the power tool in the certain power supply. Again, for safety, use this. You have to read this and understand what are the requirement. Here, before using any power tools, you have to inspect it. Use the right tool correctly, meaning protect your tools or use double insulated tools. Just only guide you how to inspect your tools before using it. Here, if you are using the temporary lights, don't just put your temporary light everywhere. Protect from damage, meaning if there is a sign of very sharp object, don't hang the wire of the temporary light on those sharp objects. It will cut the insulation, and once the insulation is damaged, that will cause electrocution. So to avoid those accidents, be safe when dealing with temporary lights. Here is the barrier, meaning if there is a power transformer or outdoor electrical distribution system, you have to use a barrier or like wire mesh to prevent the ingress of unwanted personnel to go around those live and energized electrical equipment for safety. This is just an illustration. The cord, you can see the cord there is damaged. So don't use any wire or cord when there is a indication that the insulation is cut or damaged. Here is the illustration how you will plan your work, meaning always switch off the power supply for the certain location of your work area before start working. Meaning, first you have to isolate the power supply, put the lock, the tag for your safety before start working. Here, you have to check your surrounding before start working. Or if you are in your house, if there is an indication that the water is scattering near the electrical power supply, don't go near to that power supply because water is a conductor of electricity. So if there is a damaged wire there and water is flowing, that is dangerous and unsafe. PPE. PPE is the personal protective equipment. This is used for when you are working in the industry. Use this personal protective equipment, safety shoes, the hard hat, or the insulating glove, even your clothing. Here is the polarity connection for the receptacle. The correct polarity is that you will notice the bigger slot, that is the neutral, and the smaller slot is the on the right is the hot, meaning the live wire, and then there is green is the ground. So interchanging this will cause to the reverse polarity, and it is not safe. Okay, this is the illustration that the the grounding must be observed before start working. Okay, this is again related to the grounding system, and again, still, it will tell you that the ground is a mandatory or necessary to observe before start plugging your power tools uh, for safety. Just only show you the temporary lights shall not be suspended to anywhere for safety, because if that cord for your temporary wiring is cut or there is a sign of abrasion, that is unsafe. Here is the flexible cords and cable must be protected from damage. Meaning, if you are installing a cord or a flexible cord or cables in that walls, you have to protect your cable. Otherwise, it will touch the metal, and that will cause electrocution for other personnel. Just only the components and equipment for general, meaning the extension cord set used with portable electric tools and appliance shall be of 3 wire and shall be designated for the hard or extra hard usage, meaning heavy duty tools, heavy duty tools, you should check the suitability of the wires. If undersized, don't use it. Again here, pull boxes must be provided with cover to avoid the ingress of rodents like a rat or any insect entering those panel board is unsafe. Normally, I have seen snakes inside those panel boards. So be safe. Flexible cords, again, must be used for suitable location. Meaning, if you are specifying wire, you have to check the suitability. If it is for outdoor or indoor, that is different insulation. Okay, so you have to do not use the insulation of the wire if that is for indoor and use it in outdoor. That is not safe. So this is the illustration for this. This is just only the tools used for identifying the receptacle or the power supply is energized or not. These are the clues that electrical hazard exists. See here, the wire is the insulation is damaged. The conductor is already there. You can see it exposed. So if this is energized and somebody is touching this, eventually it will be electrocuted. So those are the just only guide or tip that you should be trained for this. Dealing with electricity is very dangerous. So you should have good training or guide like this. I will create video related further to this topic so that that will guide everyone watching this video for a day-to-day dealing with electricity. So these are the overall summary. These are the hazards, and these are the protective measures. So don't forget to subscribe and click the like button. I will be creating similar video for your guide and safety dealing with electricity. Thank you.